am so grateful that you guys joined me in this After Effects class today. So we are going to be starting right about now. So hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is King Sam and I make motion graphics, graphic design, most probably After Effects tutorials right here on YouTube. And if you guys are just joining me, please like this video, share it, subscribe it. If there's any way you guys can just follow along and comment down below if you have any problem that you experience during the tutorial, and I'll be sure to get to you. So I want to thank you guys again for joining us, and the best way to contact me as a person is by joining the motion design community that I created. The link is in the video description, so you can join along with me. At any point in time, if I make a mistake or if you are not sure about what I said, you can actually drop a message in the chat and I'll be sure to get to you. So I think at this moment we should jump right into After Effects. Now and if you also can't hear me and my network has gone bad or something, you can also make sure that you can send it down below in the comment section so that I will know how to handle it. So let's start in After Effects right here. So I'm going to just give you a brief run around. I have a more in-depth beginner tutorial on my channel, and I'm just going to show you guys the workspace, and I'm just going to jump into a text animation. That's what we're going to be learning how to make today. Now, in After Effects, when you open it up, you're actually going to see something like this. I hope you guys can hear me. Please, can you guys hear me? Okay, you can hear me. Okay, thank you. So when you jump into After Effects, I just installed Windows 11 on my system, so you're not going to see anything on my previous works here. But when you install After Effects on your system, this is how you're supposed to, when you open it up, this is how it's going to look like. So for today, we're just going to open a new project. Now you have this whole workspace right here, and the first thing I'm going to tell you to do, okay, you understand English, Mr. Poma, I will try as much as possible to demonstrate a lot of things for you. If you don't understand English, you can just follow along with the other parts of this tutorial. So in After Effects like this is your workspace. Everything you're seeing here is your workspace. Up here, this title bar here, now you have this sidebar here, you have where your timeline is going to be down here, and this is going to be your work area. Now we are going to create a new composition, and this is very, very important because it's going to depend on your aspect. It's going to depend on your aspect ratio and where you want to use it from. So I'm going to bring in something now. So you guys can see the different kinds of aspect ratio we have for different kinds of work that we do. So let's take something like this, for example. Let's make this larger. But if you can see that there are different aspect ratios for different sizes of screens, or different what I'm looking for. There's many aspect ratios for different devices that you use. Now for laptops, TVs, and the other things that are more like rectangles, the best one and the major one people use is 1920 by 1080. I think my network is having a little issue here, but I'll have showed you guys. I like for this to be on a big screen, like bigger. But it's 1920 by 1080, and that can be oh shit. Okay, so for the most ones that we use for laptops, for TVs, is 1920 by 1080. So that is your regular HD. you can step it up to 4K, 8K, 6K, but the borderline is everything is 16 by 9. So you can see lock aspect ratio here to 16 by 9. So that one now is going to work for your TV screens, for your laptop screens, for landscape mode on your phones. Now for social media designs, people go with the inverse. So instead of 16 by 9, you go to 9 by 16. So you can see social media portrait here, social media landscape here. Now let's just do social media portrait HD. Now your aspect ratio has changed to 9 by 16. So your composition preset, it depends on what you actually want to do. Is this animation going to be more of a landscape design? That means maybe you're doing it for an advert, a commercial, or is it going to be more of a social media design where everybody uses their phone in the portrait orientation? So for this animation, let's just use our normal 1920 by 1080, and we're going to go down to frame rate now. And your frame rate is how many frames do you have in a second. So that's why I call it like frame rate. So the more frame rate, so the higher your frame rate, the smoother your animations. The lower your frame rate, the more choppy your animations become. So but for a fact, a lot of TVs and a lot of social media designs and animations are actually done in 30 fps or 60 fps. If you play a lot of video games, you're supposed to know what I mean, but if you don't, it's just the smoothness of your motion. And most of the times I do designs, I do it in 30 fps. It's rare that I do 60 fps except the customer specifically asks for it. So I'm just going to do 1920 by 1080, 30 frames per second. Then my duration, I'm just going to change my duration. Let's make it like 8 seconds and click on OK. Now you can see you have a blank screen right here, and this is how After Effects starts. I told you, when you come over here, you see your project tab and project panel. So everything that you bring into After Effects to work on is going to first appear in your project panel right here, and it also shares the same space with the effects panel right here. But we're not going to go into that for now. Let me just show you guys the UI of it. Now a lot of times when I'm working, I like working my workspace on all panels, so I don't need to be moving between multiple screens trying to pick what I want. I like working with all panels, and you can see it as I arrange my workspace. There are tons of workspaces online, and a lot of people can customize their workspace to whatever they want. It's up to you how your workspace is supposed to be customized. There's no one that is better than the other. And today what we're going to do in this class is we're just going to work on a simple animation, and the animation is, let's say it's not that hard, but it's a simple text animation, and it's just something that can actually pique your creativity a lot in doing After Effects. And this is the animation we're going to be working on today, this simple text animation right here. So at the end of this class, you're supposed to know how to create this text animation by yourself in After Effects. So you can just let that go. And first thing we're going to do is we're just going to first create the background layer. So what we use to create the background layer is a solid. Now all you just need to do to create your solid is you can use Ctrl+Y, and you're going to create a new solid, and you're going to use color section here. I'm just going to make it white. Click on OK and click on OK again. Now you have this cool looking solid right here. Now I can lock my solid down here so that I am not going to mistakenly move it or drag it, because I don't want it to be movable. I just want it to be there as the background. This is going to be my background layer. Now next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to create my text. So go to my text tool and I'm going to type bread. Okay, Now I can change my fill here to black and click on OK. Now I'm going to change my font to Montserrat, one of my favorite fonts, and let's change it to extra bold. Now you can just increase our text size, something like this, and we are going to align here, and we're just going to align it to the center of our composition like this. Now next I'm going to do is I'm going to left click and I'm going to create shapes from text. So once I do that, I can now delete this my original text layer because I don't need it anymore. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to this my outline layer here, and I'm just going to duplicate it 4 more times. And now I'm just going to open up the individual layers right here, and I'm just going to delete the part I don't need. So for this first layer, I just want only the B to be there, so I can delete this. For this second layer here, I want the R to be there, so I can just delete remaining, delete this B, and open up this one. Just delete that, and I'm going to open up this final one here, and I'm just going to delete everything apart for the final one here. So let's close all of them up, and what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to rename my layers, because so that it will be easy for me to know what animation is going where. So rename R, rename E, rename A, and rename D. Okay, so now this is what we have on these our layers right here. Now I'm going to hide this remaining 3 here. This is our eyeball. This thing that looks like an eyeball here. Once you click it, you're going to hide everything that was there originally, and now you just have your B and your D like this. Now I'm going to come down into our timeline, let's say somewhere around here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open these 2 layers, and I'm going to open up their position property, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a keyframe on the position property, and I'm going to just move this back, let's say somewhere like this. Now at this point in time, I can just use my Ctrl+ to zoom in, and I'm going to hold down Shift R to open up my ruler. So I'm just going to drag this until it's like in the middle of this place, and you understand why I'm doing that in a second. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just move this one here, the D. Now I'm just going to move it. I forgot to do something. Okay, so before you work on any animation, there's something you have to do. A lot of times when you make shapes and when you make a text and you separate them to individual layers like that, their anchor points are actually out of whack. Like what do I mean? Now the anchor points for the D here, instead of it to be at the middle right here, the anchor point is all the way around here. So this is not what we want. Now for the kind of animation we want to do, I want to move my anchor point, and how you move your anchor point is, let's remove this other keyframe that we just made, so like this. So how you move your anchor points, that you come down here to this your pan behind tool here, and you can just hold Control and double click. It's going to move all the anchor points to the middle of the individual shapes. But we are going to take this a little bit further because there is a kind of animation we want to do. Now if we take our anchor points here, and let's make sure that we are selecting only our B here, and we are just going to move it to the middle of this place here, because if you notice, from our original animation. Let's see if I can get that back. Yes, here you can see that the shape animated from this middle line and crossed over before this our bread animation actually showed. So we are going to move it to this middle line right here, and for the D also we're just going to move it and you're just going to take it down to this middle line right here. Now, so that we can be easy for us, what we're going to do is we're going to select this our B and D, and we're just going to this search bar here, and I'm just going to type in path. And what I can do is I can just make keyframes on the individual path of my B here, and I'm going down and make another keyframe on the path of my D here. Now I can click U so that it can just shorten all our keyframes to the ones we can see right here, and I'm just going to select this keyframes down here, and I'm just going to move it backward like this. Now let's zoom in, and I can use H so I can move around. So it's going to turn into this hand I can just use to move around my my work area here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to our pen tool, and I'm going to hold down Control. Sorry. So I'm going to like select a part here, and let's just select this point in time. I'm going to hold down Shift. What's going on? Oh, sorry. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to like come to my pen tool and just make sure that a part of this point is selected here, and I'll go back to my selection tool here, and I'm just going to hold down Control and just select all the points that are here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click, so it's going to show me this box thing here. And what I can just do is I can just move this inward like this, and I can just raise it up like that. So when it animates now, you're going to see it's going to animate like that. So I'm going to do the same thing for our B here. And when I open up the keyframes by clicking U, I can just still move these ones back. Just make sure the two of them are starting and are ending on the same place. So here, and when I come down here, I just move down to this alias here. So what I'm going to do again, come select a point here, go back to our selection tool here, hold down Control and just select the whole point here. When I double click, I can now take this and I'm just going to drag it in like this. I'm just going to raise it up twice. So same thing, it has this cool looking animation like this. Now if you notice, if you paid attention to the original animation, the two of them have to cross each other. So let's just zoom out again, and this is the time that our anchor points and everything is going to come into play. If you remember that we moved all our anchor points to the middle here. So let's just take our anchor points, hold it down, Control will help you lock the anchor points in place better. So this one too, this one's already in place, and this one also right now is in place. Now I'm just going to draw a line to go through our anchor points like this, and I'm going to draw another line to go through our anchor points like this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up our position property for, let's do B first. So for our B here, now I'm going to make a keyframe on our position, and I'm just going to move it back. Now let's go to the point in time before this animation starts, and I'm going to move forward by 4 frames. So before animation starts here, let's move forward 1, 2, 3. So I'm using page up to move forward, so there'll be a little bit of rest before the second animation starts. So now I'm just going to come somewhere around here, and I'm just going to move this position to this point right here, and I'm just going to make sure the line passes through the same line that goes from this top bottom here. Now going to my D now, I'm going to open my position here, and I'm going to make a position. Let's drag this down. I'll align it better later, and I'm just going to move this somewhere like this where it aligns again. So let's move down here, and let's make, oh, I got it first try. So now when you look at these two animations, you can see that it crisscrosses and it opens up, but it's seeming a little bit too fast, so I can just increase the length like this. Let's check it again. Okay, now that is looking amazing. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, on my B and on my D here, I'm going to open up my scale property, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to move forward by 3 frames again. So 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to make a keyframe on my scale property here, and I'm going to move front by, like, let's say under 3 frames, 1, 2, 3, and I'm just going to unlink the scale here, and I'm going to change this to 110. Okay, sorry, I'm going to change the one at the back to 110, and I'm going to go forward in time, let's say somewhere around here, and I'm going to take this down to 0. So now when you play it back, you have that cool looking animation, but I think it's happening a little bit too fast also, so I can just space it a little bit better. Cool. Now you can see everything is coming into place right now. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the same animation, but okay, yeah, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same animation but with a twist. So before you know that we did this, we made this rectangle shape using our shape tool, and what we just did was we converted the shape tool and we just used our pen tool to recreate something like this. So what I'm just going to do now is I'm going to my pen tool here, and I'm just going to make sure I switch off the fill, and I'm just going to increase our stroke. Let's see, something around 23, 24 supposed to be okay. Now I'm going to take another line here so that I can know my starting point here, and I'm just going to keep a point right here, hold down shift so that it can be a straight line, make another point down here, and I'm just going to drag this up a bit, and let's just reposition that here. Now let's just change the color to black so you can see the whole world better. I almost nailed it again. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to adjust the placement of this, and make sure that you don't go from this point to adjusting the point here, because if you try it, it's just going to close it, and we don't want to close up the loop. So if you want to adjust that point here, you have to go first here, and then you have to go here, so like this. So let's move this down, and let's just increase the arc like this. Okay, so here now I want to make this look a whole lot more better, so I'm just going to hold down Alt, and I'm going to change this into a bezier curve. I know it has spoiled your design, but you're going to fix it now. So what you just need to do is this second I don't know what to call this thing, anchor handle here. I don't know. You just move it to the middle back, and it's just going to make that line a whole lot straight, or a whole lot straighter, a whole lot straight, or a whole lot straighter. And I'm just going to adjust this like this, so I can see that it's not the same thickness, so I can just increase it small. Okay, I think this is supposed to be okay. And let's just adjust this more a little bit again. So let's see here, let's move this inward. Yeah, so let's say something like this looks okay. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up my shape layer here. I'm going to add a trim parts animation. So let's open up our trim parts animation, and let's see where this our design ends. So let's click U first, so we can know what we are working on. So this is where this design starts from. So I'm just going to move down by like 3 frames. Moving up down by 3 frames. 1, 2, 3. And so from somewhere like here now, I'm going to open up my shape, open up my contents, open up my trim parts, and I'm going to make a keyframe on my end and my start. Now this is how it's actually going to finish. So if I pull this back, if I adjust this end animation, is going to be there like that. So for this start animation, at the end of this place here, I'm just going to increase this to 100. Now I'm going to move back here, and I'm just going to move this forward a little bit so we can have it following itself. So if I come back here, I can just drop my end animation back to 0, and I can also drop my start animation back to 0. So let's just move this front here, and okay, it's not still going to be good. So let's see it now. Sorry, let's move this to the front and move this to the back, like here. So now if you see it, you have this animation going from this place all the way to that place. And I just realized that I did not complete this. I'm just supposed to add one more point here, and I can just leave that up down here. So we have this. So it looks like the animation is making an arc, and that's what is actually. Okay, let's see that one more time. Let's see if I'm going to work on the timing. Okay, let's move this back a little bit. Cool. Now what I'm going to do is, for my shape here, I'm just going to duplicate it. So we have another shape layer here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move it. Sorry. Now what I'm going to do is, let's open this up again on our shape layer 2. And what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to my pen tool here, and I'm just going to take these 2 points, this point here and this point here, and I'm just going to move them holding down shift to this other side like this. And I'm just going to adjust the anchor points here so that it's going to look the same. Now I can open my trim parts here, can copy it, and I can just come and paste it here also. Sorry, let's paste it back where it starts from. So it starts here, and I can just paste the trim parts here also. So you have it moving in 2 different ways. Let's open our trim parts. Okay, let's see. Okay, so you don't even need to copy it set. Sorry, silly me. Once you just move it there, you can go copy over the trim parts also. So you don't need to copy the trim parts from here and paste it here. You're just going to apply on the two. That's beautiful. Now, the next thing we are going to do is we're going to do our initial movement. So the initial movement was coming from the top of our composition here down to this place. So what we're going to do is we can just still duplicate this layer here, and the reason I'm going to do that is going to come up. I'm going to show you guys now. And let's just open this, open our content, and I can just delete shape layer 2 from this one here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in first, and let's just delete this, and we can also delete this. And now I can take this, hold down my shift, and I'm just going to drag this outside my composition like this. Now I click on U, and so to open up my keyframes, I can take this and just move them forward like this. I don't know if you guys are still following me, or if anybody is lost, I can actually go back and just show you guys how I did that. Or you guys, are we okay? Let me look at the chat. Okay, it's like we are actually okay. So as you can see, instead of going from the top to the bottom, is going from the bottom to the top. And this is pretty easy to solve. All you just need to do is just to change the position of the points. So if I can just zoom out here, and I just take these points here, and I'm just going to move it up, take these points here. Oh, sorry, let's use Alt on the back. Okay, move these points up here, and I can just take these points, move it down, and I'm just going to move this one up like this. An easy way to know where your trim part animation is going to start from and end from is by looking at the point. So if you see this point here, it's just a regular rectangle and there is nothing crazy about it. But if you just move up to these initial points here, you can see there's like a double rectangle, and it's looking okay to me. So let me see if this is straight enough. Okay, I think this will be okay. So now if you play this back, you have this cool looking animation right here coming from the top. Let me fit this back in the center of our frame. Coming from the top, busting out into two, and reveals this way. Now let's see the final part of the animation. Let's watch it. So final part of animation is going to be this cool looking reveal right here. But before that, I think there's something I saw. Okay, now from our demo, this line here coming from the top to the bottom down here, it has a curved edge. It's not just straight like this. So what I'm just going to do is, when I open the layer, let's open up the shape, open up our stroke, and this from here now you can actually change it. Let me zoom in so you can see the difference. Now if I change the board cap to round cap, is going to change the look of our stroke here. So instead of it looking flat like this is going to project a little bit and just be a whole lot more spherical. That's the word I'm looking for, spherical. Okay, so let's just close that and go back to our feet here. And now we're going to work on the reveal. So this and the reveal. Cool. So now the reveal starts after the cross like this. So this is where our reveal is going to start. And what the reveal basically is just a rectangle. And I'll show you how to use a rectangle for that kind of reveal in a second. All you just need to do is let's go back to the end of our animation here and let's zoom in. Now I'm going to take our rectangle tool, make sure nothing is selected down here. If not, it's going to draw the rectangle inside one of these shape layers here. And I'm just going to hold this and just make a simple rectangle like this. Now I can just reduce the stroke to 0 and I'm just going to give it a random fill. It's not actually important. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up my scale property and I'm just going to unlink it right here. And I'm going to make a keyframe at 100% scale. Now I'm going to go back and let's just hide this to the point in time that they meet. So let's say here, and I'm just going to reduce the scale down to 0. So you see what happens now. So when it's not this coordinate I was supposed to reduce. I was supposed to reduce this other coordinate. So I'm going to change here to 0. And this is what is going to happen when you play it back. It's just going to expand with it. So it expands with it. So I can just push this down to here. Now the reason why it's having some irregularities is because it's not the same size on each coordinate. So what I can do is let's just hide these are guidelines right now, and I'm just going to reduce it like this. Let's make things equidistant like right now, and I can just move it this way. Now control and double click so our pan behind tool can go back to the center. So let it be something like this. Let's increase the size again. Like this. Okay. So I have multiple keyframes here, so I can delete this one. So now we have this keyframe looking amazing right now. Let's move this back so that it matches it more. Okay. Now, what we're going to use this for, we're going to drag this shape layer here, down here, and let's just rename this so you guys don't get confused into reveal letters. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to unhide these REA layers here, and I'm going to switch the modes, and I'm just going to these 3 layers here, and I'm going to make their track matte these reveal letters right here. So now when it's opening up to reveal them. Now I want the final animation. Now that means the B and the D opening up to just start from around here, because it's starting here, it's not actually that good. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to my B layer here, I'm going to click on U to open up all the keyframes, and I'm just going to move this one so that it starts somewhere around here. Let's move it back. Okay, let's see here, and you can just move it here and come to our D, click on U, and we're just going to this apart animations here, and we're just going to move it forward like this. So let's see it. And that was amazing. So now, as you can see, the reason why I made let's zoom out a bit. And the reason why I made this entire thing a whole lot shorter than our entire composition length was because I wanted to actually show you guys how to shorten a composition. Maybe you are working on something and your composition is longer than like what you initially expected. So what you can do is, let's say I want the composition to stop here, I can just move this back here, and this is now where our composition is going to stop. So from here like this, you play it, and this is how the duration. So from 8 seconds, I can just shrink it down to 4 seconds here. So when you play it back again, this is what you have, and it's still looking amazing. So thank you guys for watching the tutorials. For as many of you that made it to this moment in time, I'm really appreciative. Thank you guys. I love you guys. If you guys have any questions, actually right now is a point in time you can ask me in the comment section anything at all that pertains to motion design, graphic design, and video editing. Maybe they have an issue with After Effects, and I'll see if I can answer the questions to the best of my abilities. So is there any question, something that you don't understand, or something that you just came across with, and you have been cracking your head on something like that? Is there any question like that I can answer? So please, can you save the stream afterwards so we can rewatch? Yeah, the stream is going to be up. I'm going to leave the stream up on my channel. I'm going to like cut out the beginning dead space so that it's easier for you guys to follow along. That is RDM that said that. I'm still on version 23. I'm thinking about installing 25, but I'm too lazy to transfer all the plugins. This Russian friend is okay. This is a Ukrainian friend. He's very funny. But it actually is the truth. Me personally, I had to reinstall my Windows because I got the larger SSD, and the transferring of my plugins up to now I'm mostly done with that. So it's the struggle is real actually. So is there any other question I can answer in the chat? Anything I don't understand, anything at all, and I'll be sure to get to you. Is there anything I can answer for you, or any problems you have with After Effects? Or if you have any video suggestions, you can just comment it down below, and I'll be sure to see if I can add it. And if you are joining us for the first time, my name is King Sam. I make graphic design, motion design content right here on YouTube, and it's what I do, it's what I love, and I love doing it. And if you want to connect with me, I've said it before, the best way to do that is by joining our motion design community. The link is in the video description. Just say hi. Come interact with other people just like yourself, because I will have a lot more lives like this coming in the future, and I'll be having a mentorship course that is going to be starting. I'm not saying really soon, but it's coming, and we are almost there. So if this is something you like, this is something you want to do, this is something you want to learn, After Effects, Photoshop, Illustrator, and a lot more other things. Okay, so MD Tawhid, sorry if I mispronounced the name. I'm a graphic designer and I am planning to learn motion graphics. Can you guide me so that I can learn motion graphics from scratch? Okay, thank you, MD Tawhid. First of all, I'll tell you guys to subscribe to my channel and keep keep subscribed. I mean, keep being subscribed. Personally, I am a graphic designer also. I started off as a graphic designer, I think about like 8 or 9 years ago. That's when I started doing graphic design, and it has been a crazy journey going from graphic design to motion graphics. But the good thing about it is that you already have the baseline, and for anybody coming from a graphic design background to motion graphics, you already have an unfair advantage. I will actually say that you have an unfair advantage because it's the same apps. Photoshop and After Effects. Photoshop is After Effects for videos. That's what it is. Photoshop is After Effects for videos. And the same way you think, you combine your layer modes, your blending modes, everything is still the same. And especially when you're doing stuff like motion posters and logo reviews, you understand that the interactions and the seamless interactions between all those apps are really, really important. And it's crazy, and it's actually amazing what you can actually do coming from a graphic design background. So get subscribed. A lot more other videos are going to be coming up like this. I'm going to also be trying to interview a lot of people. I'm going to be interviewing people from the motion design space, from the graphic design space, from the web space, making money on Web3 and everything. I'm going to interview a lot of people, like just how they started, how it's going for them, how they're able to level up their skill, and how they are making money from a skill that they learned. So just be subscribed, and a lot of good things are going to happen, and I'm pretty sure of that. Again, please make sure that you are connected with us on our community, on Throne community. The link is still in my video description, and I'm thankful that you guys are joining us down there. So I think we have come to the end of this video, because I don't see another question right here, and I think I'm going to the end of this video. Our next video is going to be uploaded. It's not going to be live, it's just going to be a regular video, but it's going to be uploaded on Saturday, and it's something amazing, and you guys have to wait to see that by yourself. And yeah, it's just going to be an amazing time, and I'm grateful to everybody that have watched this live. Our next live is going to be even better than that. We had a lot of technical issues today before I started, but I'm thankful that everything was able to be sorted out in time. So thank you, everybody. I still remain King Sam, and from now until the next video, remember, improve every day, grow constantly, and dream endlessly. I love you guys.